As a meteorologist and someone who's studied this my whole life, I couldn't have even believed that could have happened. To give you an idea, they're saying that even right now, this is likely a 1 in 1,000 year event. To give you an idea of how unprecedented this is.
الصوت منطقة دريانة. سبحان الله، صوت يسمعوه بالميضة وتوكرة وبنغازي 18 أو 19 فجر الخميس 19 صوت عالي. استغفر الله العظيم. الله أكبر.
سبحان الله، الصوت هذا في بنغازي بالتحديد الساعة 4 فجر. سبحان الله العظيم. سبحان الله. في منطقة حي السلام، صوت غريب جدا. الله أكبر لله الحمد.
Did you guys hear that?
The other side of the globe today, the last solar eclipse of this decade ignited a spectacular phenomenon known as the Ring of Fire. It was seen in parts of Asia, Africa, and Australia. A new moon, visually smaller than usual, passed in front of the sun, leaving the burning ring of light.
Observers call it the Ring of Fire. It's a rare annular solar eclipse where the moon covers the sun's center but leaves its outer edges visible, forming a glowing ring in the sky. And it was visible on Thursday along a stretch of the planet Earth from Indonesia to Saudi Arabia. Albert Ho is the president of the Astronomical Society of Singapore.
This will be the first of only 2 annular eclipses visible from Singapore for the rest of the century. Yeah, so in the sense, it's a very rare event for us because eclipse, like total eclipse and annual eclipse, you can only see within a very narrow path on the Earth called the path of totality or path of annuality, depending on the case.
Students at Colombo University in Sri Lanka set up telescopes to watch. On a beach in Karachi, Pakistan, people suffering from illnesses buried themselves in the sand with hopes the solar eclipse would help them heal. This boy traveled from Dubai to Abu Dhabi for the full experience.
Even though I knew it's going to be a partial eclipse in Dubai, I wanted to come here only to witness this once-in-a-lifetime moment, and it looks so amazing while you see it. It's like it's completely covered.
Even experienced sky watchers were awed by this one.
I came because this is an event that takes place nearly every 100 years, and I didn't want to miss it. Thank God who granted me the ability to see it, and it can only be seen with a specific kind of glasses, and I've got them.
As our planet completes another full rotation around the sun, Thursday's solar eclipse reminds us how connected those of us on Earth can sometimes feel.
Scientists are puzzled by the behavior of what used to be one of the brightest stars in the skies. It's called the red giant star, called Betelgeuse. It's been rapidly dimming since October. It used to be the 9th brightest object you can see from Earth, but it's now more than 2 times dimmer than usual. Some scientists believe that means it may be about to explode, turning the star into a so-called supernova, but others believe the dimming is just a phase and there's no supernova in the making. If there is, it's anybody's guess when that would happen. Some scientists believe it could still be more than 200,000 years away. If it does happen, it'll be a spectacular show in the sky, but it will not pose any danger to us here on Earth. So
there. It's the shoulder of the Orion constellation.
Oh, interesting.
So if you're wondering which star is Betelgeuse, it's the shoulder.
Yeah.
It's the right shoulder when you're looking at Betelgeuse. It's the one that appears on the left, but it's the right shoulder of the Orion constellation, if that makes sense.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's the one. It's the reddish one, so it's the top part of the constellation. So that's what it is. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I was reading some information online saying that the star has gone through its full life cycle a lot faster than other stars. So for example, our star is 4.5 billion years old. That's how old the sun is right now. It's considered mid-age. But this one is supposedly, from what I was reading, around 10,000 years old.
The Zambezi River Authority shows that the water flow at the Victoria Falls in southern Africa is at its lowest since 1995.
Would all this ordinarily be covered?
All of the flat parts of the rock over there would be covered by water.
The Zambezi feeds into one of the natural wonders of the world, and a low river has impacted on the Victoria Falls.
All in this dry section that's just over here. See, there's a little trickle of water there. There should be water going all the way across the Victoria Falls.
Wow, that is a dramatic and sad sight.
Incredible change, isn't it? It actually alters the whole view and perspective of the Victoria Falls when there's no water flowing over.
For decades, the Victoria Falls have drawn tourists from Zimbabwe and Zambia. This is where southern Africa's Zambezi River cascades down 100 meters. However, drought has affected the water flow.
It's still one of the most spectacular visual feasts you'll ever see, but it seems to be disappearing. This is a site which has delighted people for centuries, and now look at it. The impact is dramatically stark from this angle. The world's largest falls now down to a triple in places.
I thought it was just a story people used to talk about, not until I came to see what is happening here at the Victoria Falls. The falls is completely dry. The dry season is normal for every season to be dry like that, but this season it started as early as June. So this is one of the, I would say it's the longest dry season we've ever had.
Well, we're moving to Western Europe now, where the death toll from 2 storms has risen to 9. Spain and Portugal are among the countries worst affected by the heavy rain and violent winds of Storm Elsa, which hit the Iberian Peninsula on Wednesday but has since weakened. However, a second storm, Fabian, has followed closely behind, bringing with it more flooding.
Across Spain, Portugal and France, more than 118,000 households are without electricity. In Portugal, storm surge flooding has forced the evacuation of 250 people.
A waterfront in southern France is battered by waves and high winds, one of several places to feel the effects of 2 powerful storms in recent days.
It was a stay indoors couple of days, but this close to Christmas, with parties and presents still to be bought, many had to maneuver the strong winds in town on Friday into Saturday. 4 flights.
Several places to feel the effects of 2 powerful storms in recent days. Storm Elsa swept in from the Atlantic on Wednesday and was closely followed by a second storm, Fabian, which made landfall on Saturday.
Stormy weather has been affecting parts of southwest Europe, causing flooding and extreme winds. The crew of a cargo ship off the coast of Sardinia had to be airlifted to safety after it began to capsize. The vessel hit rough seas and ploughed into a rocky stretch of coastline. 12 crew members were rescued.
Galicia, on western Spain's Atlantic tip, is no stranger to storms, but sights like this are still remarkable. A coastal promenade, awash with sea foam, whipped up by the pounding of countless waves and blown ashore by Storm Fabian's full force.
There have been widespread power cuts in southern France, and some rail services were cancelled due to the likelihood of trees falling on the lines.
Storm Elsa hit the Iberian Peninsula on Wednesday, with the following days seeing an increase in its intensity. The historic riverfront streets of Porto in Portugal were flooded as large amounts of rain fell in short time.
It was all so quick that we had to leave urgently. I never saw anything like this in Agueda.
And we have this just in. The U.S. Geological Survey records a magnitude 7.1 earthquake in Southern California, a day after the strongest quake in the region in 25 years.
We just had a nice big jolt over here in downtown Los Angeles about a little more than an hour ago. The USGIS has estimated preliminary as a 7.1 magnitude earthquake, making it the biggest earthquake in the past 25 years since the Northridge earthquake. The epicenter was also near the Ridgecrest area, which felt yesterday's 6.4 earthquake. So since this earthquake, this most recent one, is bigger than yesterday's 6.4 earthquake, seismologists are saying that this most likely, the 7.1 earthquake, is actually the main earthquake, and yesterday was a foreshock. As of now,
It's been a bad start to Australia's annual bushfire season. 6 people killed so far, hundreds of homes destroyed. Sydney's nickname, Big Smoke, never more appropriate. But one victim has captured the nation's and now the world's attention. He sure did need rescuing, and there was only one person around to do it, and only one way. Tony, she didn't give a last name, took off her shirt and charged into the flames.
Careful his claws.
One smoldering marsupial rescued and doused down. One lucky bear. More than 300 koalas are feared to have been killed this year. This one was taken to a sanctuary.
Around Sydney is as angry and as frightening as we've seen. 20,000 people are tonight in the path of the mega fire rolling down the Blue Mountains into the town of Lithgow. We were warned of catastrophic conditions, and right now there are 7 fires burning at emergency level. A powerful southerly is currently moving through, making conditions for firefighters even more chaotic. Chris O'Keefe begins our coverage.
A mad scramble in the middle of Lithgow. In this onslaught, a garden hose was the best weapon they had, as the monster from the Blue Mountains roared down the range. Immediately, family homes went up, a town of more than 20,000 under a brutal ember attack.
Jesus. I'm very afraid for all of us.
Police turning firefighters to try to save their community. For streets, fires just popped up out of nowhere, and before you knew it, another house was engulfed. Once one fire was out, another had already started. This mining town having its mettle severely tested.
Trying to do something that's probably impossible.
They told us it would be catastrophic, and on cue, the Gospers Mountain mega fire woke up.
And there is a heightened risk of a fire-generated thunderstorm.
In Bilpin, firefighters walked into the gates of hell. Scorching heat and gusty winds, a mixture for mayhem.
It's gone further up there. We'll just get out.
For our already weary fire crews, conditions don't get worse than this. The blaze that's hounded communities on the city's southwest outskirts pushed into the town of Hilltop. A new target for this hungry fire.
If it gets too close, we're out of here.
They knew it was coming,
It's not far.
But it's hard to prepare for this.
I just don't want no one to get hurt.
Further south, just off the humid Yerenbul, a platoon of fire trucks were ready for the flames to run up the hill. Towns throughout the Blue Mountains faced a fight. This house was no chance. The community of Bell was dwarfed by the smoke, crews doing the best they could.